we learned how energy goes from the sun to plants to animals and even on to other animals because of what animals eat. Now, what you guys are going to do today is make your very own food chain, which is really cool. What you should do when you're making your food chain is we are going to work backwards. Now that means we are going to start at the end of our food chain and take steps back until we get to where all energy comes from. Think about that. All right, so what you're going to need to do first on your food chain is think of any animal. Now I've decided that on my food chain, I'm going to start with a coyote. And since we're working backwards, I'm going to put my coyote on this side of my page. So once you have your animal, you can draw a picture and label your animal. Now, if you don't know how to spell the name of your animal, I want you to sound it out or have an adult help you. Now, what we need to do to take a step back from our animal is we need to know, what does this animal, what does my coyote eat? Now, if you don't know what your animal eats, you're gonna have to look it up. And once you do that, we'll be able to do our next step. So I'm gonna look up, what does a coyote eat? Because I'm not too sure. Hey Siri, what do coyotes eat?
According to humanesociety.org, coyotes usually eat small prey such as mice and rabbits, keeping rodent populations in check.
Interesting. So she just told me that coyotes get their energy from rodents. That means like mice or rats. So I drew a picture of a mouse and I labeled it rodent. So going from the rodent to the coyote is energy, and that's what this arrow is for, because the coyote eats the mouse and gets its energy from the mouse. But where does the mouse get its energy from? Well, it'll get its energy from its food too. So we need to know, what do mice eat? Now I already looked this one up, so I've got the answer for you. Mice eat flowers. They eat plants that have stems like a flower. So the mice, the rodents, are getting their energy from the flowers that they eat. So whatever you drew here, you'll need to find out what it eats so that you can put it in your food chain. All right, so I have put flowers in my food chain, and I used its official title. It's called an herbaceous plant, and I know that from when I looked it up, and I used my sources from my research. Now, where do plants get their energy from? Of course, we learned about this yesterday and last week. Plants get their energy from the sun. So, if you have a plant in your food chain, which you should, plants get their energy from the sun. So, the very first thing in your food chain will be the sun, and you should have a label of it, the sun. All right, so once you have looked up all of your food chain, it should look a lot like this. So, when you start your food chain, you're gonna start at the end by thinking of an animal. Then you'll have to know, what does that animal eat? Where does it get its energy from? And that will go right before. Then if you have another animal, you'll need to know, well, what does that animal eat? And before that animal, well, what does that animal eat? And it could tell you, maybe a plant. All right, so here we have our plant, and before plants, we know they get their energy from the sun. All right, you guys, you are going to be making your very own food chain now. So go get out your paper and your pencil or colors so that you can decorate your food chain. Once you're done, turn it in. I'm so excited to see what animals you guys pick and to see your food chain. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow.